Yeah, that's 6-year-old me. A young man that had no idea what life's journey was all about, or how precious it actually is. If you don't mind, I'd like to read a short poem that I made shortly after my first suicide attempt. It's entitled, "I'm Just a Number." I'm just a number. I breathe, I seek, I blunder. I'm just a number. I fall, I hurt, I wonder. I'm just a number. I've loved, I've lived, I'll die, but Lord knows I've tried to be more than just a number. In 1984, I was an unworldly, insecure, trauma-ridden, adventure-seeking 17-year-old man-boy from the suburbs of Detroit. I walked out of the local Navy recruiting station with my head held high. I thought I just won the lottery of life. I thought, I'm so on top of the world right now, I will finally show all the high school masses and all the people who have ever doubted me or shamed me of just what a success I would become. But little did I realize that day that I had no idea of what hard lessons life and the world would eventually show me as my journey began. Truth be told, I've never felt very secure in this world or very comfortable. In my younger years, I've always avoided any uncomfortable conversations with others instead of being truthful and honest about my own judgments and my own insecurities about myself. I would purposely divert any questions in any social settings about feeling comfortable about myself. I didn't want anybody to really know who I was, so they would not judge me due to my numerous family traumas and abuse. In my early 20s, during my military years, many people thought I was just trying to be cool or mysterious, but not trying to say a whole lot in unfamiliar social settings. But the truth is, I've always hidden that sad, scared little boy inside of me. Connecting with few, always searching for love or approval, because generational trauma has a way of following one's life for years. Although there have been times where I felt plenty of love and acceptance in my life. If it wasn't for sports, the military, or my grandparents, I probably never would have felt any worthiness in my early life. Sure, I was cute as a baby, maybe not that picture, but when I was little, I won a baby contest for the cutest baby boy. But as I got older, I got a little chubby, or husky, as my grandmother used to say. I had chipped teeth, they were buck-toothed, and I pretty much wore the same outfit to school every day. I was this t-shirt kid that pretty much wore a t-shirt every day to school. And I wasn't exactly a model student either. Let's just say I was never very popular, but yet somehow managed to blend in just enough behind the scenes. A survival technique that would serve me well for many years to come. I lost my grandfather at age 17. He was my mentor, my father figure, and my hero. A World War II soldier that overcame the loss of his own mother as a child and escaped from the orphanages in Chicago to enlist in the US Army during the days of Nazi Germany's reign of world terror. Growing up in a single parent's home is never easy, as there is a constant barrage of people that come into your life. Some with good intentions, and some with not so good intentions. But I could always count on my grandparents to help ease my pain. My grandfather was a simple man and a hard worker that oozed respect. But he was also a man that had many demons himself, that he kept hidden very well from his grandchildren, especially me. And if it wasn't for my grandmother, he too probably had to have faced his own traumas all by himself. I wish I could have had an adult conversation with him about happiness, life, and how to become a proper righteous man and father. But I guess I would only have the military and the world to teach me these lessons. Some people might have said, I've never had a chance. That I was never supposed to be here on this earth in the first place. And you know what? Maybe they're right. I mean, who can really say if anything would have been different? Jesus? Fate? Divine intervention? I mean, shit, who the hell remembers people like me anyways? I'm just a ghost amongst ghosts. Just another story of millions living in the rat cage of life. No, I'm not particularly talented nor gifted. I am really not anyone special. I am just another bastard child born to a very young mother with an absent father, destined for welfare, misery, or disparity. It's a cliche story that's been lived by millions. A stereotypical background that many people from all walks of life have lived yet prospered, time and time again. I am but a speck of dust living on our planet trying to survive or die, depending on which way life's path may take me. Of course, I realize now, many years later, that we all have a certain path we follow in life. A story of some kind, our story, our truth. Some are picture perfect and wonderfully lived without pain or suffering. Some are blazed in glory, and some, probably most, are nothing more than trial by survival and error. None of us chooses our parents or influences. Sometimes the cards you are dealt with in life are played out right in front of you, and if you blink for a second, you might just miss your ace card. And sometimes you might just get left behind. Or as the great old school American rap group, Third Base would say, we are all just products of our environment. July 2010. As I walked into the woods that day, on a beautiful warm Sunday in July, I searched to find just the right spot to sit amongst the other birch trees in the forest, far, far away from anyone's view, with the hopes that I could never be found or seen again. To once and for all, dissolve myself in peace. I kept talking to myself in silence over and over again, thinking and justifying to myself how everyone would just be better off without me. How much of a loser I felt I had become. How depressed and miserable I had become in a failed marriage. And what a horrible father I felt like inside. I was just so tired of fighting and arguing and engaged in a losing battle with my then spouse. For once in my life, I just wanted to feel some peace in my head and in my body. To have a stress-free sleep where I could never awake back into what now had become the final straw of my hellish life. I do remember taking down the last pill with a beer. I remember looking out into the sky and into the horizon one last time and thinking to myself, you had a good run, Dave. You've done some good in this world. But now it's time to relax in peace and meet your maker. I said to myself, let it go. Just let it go. You will soon be able to see and talk to your loving grandparents again and find out the truths about life itself and why we were all put on this earth to begin with. Maybe you'll even get to speak with God. Relax, Dave. Just let it go. Just let it go. Obviously, I'm still here for some reason, or I wouldn't be talking to you all today. But did I really want to die? I've been asked this question numerous times since my own inner chaos and embarrassment opened a Pandora's box in my life. I've also asked myself this question many times and really searched deeply for the answer. I think that if by dying or escaping from all my psychological pain, frustration, and lack of self-worth, then my answer would be yes. Yes, I did want to die. But, and that's a huge but, that was not my only option. To free myself from all the things that depression had otherwise convinced me of. Depression for me was like being caught in a slow motion, uncontrollable, psychotic dream, where I could feel my thoughts and my body were moving, but it was like I wasn't the one that was doing them. It felt like all these movements couldn't be real, so it must be some kind of dream, or so I thought. Depression is a powerful force that can cloud any rational thinking. Depression is a manipulator. Depression is a liar. And depression is a killer. When I think back to that day in 2010 and how depression once convinced me that killing myself would somehow solve all my problems or give me some kind of peace, it still hurts inside my very core, and there's still a lot of shame and guilt that surfaces from time to time. But I have healed over the years, and I am all too aware that my problems would have not gone away if I had succeeded in killing myself. I know I would have just passed on much bigger problems to everyone in this world that I love. I was truly blessed that day to come out of my suicide attempt alive, and nothing or no one can ever convince me that there is no such thing in this world or the next of the existence of divine intervention. Because I know with all my heart that it does exist. And although it would take many years of healing to truly accept what I had done, and that I too needed to forgive myself, so that I could once again feel joy, love, and trust life on my terms. 2025. I have the most amazing wife in my life now, and the most forgiving children. No, I don't want to die. Yes, I want to live. But suicide is a worldwide problem, not just in the military. 800,000 people die by suicide every year, and these stats just keep rising. 7 out of 10 military veterans are over the age of 50. 85% of military suicides have not seen combat, and 52% have never even been deployed. To simply call suicide a personal weakness is not helping anyone. This is a real problem that needs to be addressed. Asking for help when needed should not be seen as a weakness, but an inner strength, in my opinion. No one should feel ashamed, scrutinized, or assumed to be some kind of weak link for courageously reaching out for help. Although it's been more than 5,000 days since I tried to kill myself, I never want another person in this world to go through what depression and suicide has done to me. So here I am now, on a mission to do what I can do to destigmatize mental health and to spread awareness. Please don't ever feel ashamed to ask for help. I promise you won't feel judged by those that really care. I promise things can get better in your life. I wish I had enough knowledge in the past to realize that my own pride and shame is what kept me from talking about my own mental health issues openly and honestly. And I wish I would have learned how to just be vulnerable. I wish I never met depression and let it convince me that suicide was the only way out of my problems. I wish I would never have put my family, and especially my children, through that very frightening time in my life. I wish I knew that someone out there just gave a shit. Because people really do care. And so do I. To any friends or family members of someone battling suicidal thoughts or depression, please remember that sometimes, many times, there will not be any obvious signs or warnings beforehand. You may only get to see what that person wants you to see. So please check on those that you believe that may be struggling. Let's search for solutions, not shame. Together, we can make all the difference in the world and save a life. Thank you.